Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah. Well, hello, dummies, and welcome to episode number 132 of the stupidest sports show on earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim the Georgia Peach Van Stratton, joined by Rodney Newpol in a nice shirt. He's got a collar. Oh yeah, he's got the Jayhawks. I should have known. But anyway, we're here on Thursday nights, and Rodney, how are you?
It's fantastic, man. It got a little rain tonight. How about that? A little rain going on in our area, but doing well. Went from warm to cold, and we're back to the winter weather for now. So, but everything else is good. 24 days until Selection Sunday, so I'm happy.
Got a bunch of rain for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was gone.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. It was good.
Better than snow.
No, listen. I had heard, and not to get too in the weeds here, because, you know, we do have a big national following here, but, you know, so we can't talk the whole time about our weather here in central Illinois. But I've been hearing that we've been in a drought. That's what the nerds have said, that we're in a drought. So I feel like today was good. It was good for the drought. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, the vibes are back. The vibes are back here with the rain. It's not as dry anymore. Yeah. Maybe we won't be in that fire warning we were in for a while. We were like red flag warning.
And the good news is this whole week of like 60s, it's immediately gone because it's going to drop, and then Sunday is going to be like in the 20s again. So
awesome. Welcome to Illinois. Yay.
Welcome to Illinois. I mean, I'm getting out of here. That's just
I heard that. That's the rumor.
Yeah. That's the rumor. Yeah, getting hopping on a bird tomorrow. So going to be doing some shows next week on site. What do you say? What do you say? The
on location. You're
on the scene. On the scene.
Yeah. You're on assignment.
You're on assignment. There we go. I knew it was something. Yeah. I'm going on assignment again.
What's the assignment? The assignment is the beach.
It's lava rocks. That's the assignment. So
yeah,
I'm excited about it. But Rodney, thank you for planning the show tonight. You know, I've worked real hard the last couple shows to make sure that the Stupidest Sports Show is as solid as it possibly can be. But you've taken the reins over, and I'm very excited to see what you have in store here, which I should have known immediately is just you being excited for Selection Sunday. I can't believe it, man. 3.5 weeks, Selection Sunday. That's nuts.
Yeah. So some interesting happenings.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, so does that mean that Arch Madness is, because Arch Madness is always the weekend before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like 17 days until like
roughly, probably more like 14 because it starts on a Thursday.
Well, it'll start, but like the Sunday, the championship. Yeah. So
yes, 14 days, 2 weeks to Arch Madness. You got the rest of this week. Bradley ISU's on Saturday this week. And then next week you have, the teams will have 2 games. And then, Arch Madness will be here in St. Louis, and conference tournaments will get started. But some of the big college basketball nerds got together today, and they did a mock bracket. They did a mock bracket, like Rothstein and Seth Davis and all those guys. And it was pretty much like you thought, but you got your first indication of a real bracket. And so that was fun to see. And there's been some interesting games and several injuries that have really kind of cost some teams. I mentioned Tuesday, BYU lost one of their top guys, Texas Tech, with JT Toppin. Now he's out for the year. Caleb Wilson from North Carolina still continues to battle through an injury. Koa Pete in Arizona. So you got to be healthy to win it all, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. If you're not healthy, you're not going to win it all. Plus, I've given the stat that the Big Ten hasn't won the national championship in almost over a quarter of a century.
You know what? I seem to have heard that somewhere, like all the time.
Yeah. It's also been about that long since a team with double-digit losses won the national championship. So if your team is creeping towards 8, 9, 10 losses about now, you might want to say, see ya. They're not going to win the national championship because history shows that teams with double-digit losses have a tough time winning the national championship. So keep an eye on some of those teams that are 7, 8, 9 losses, lose another game or two in conference, lose a conference tournament game. See ya.
I need to know immediately what Ryan Hammer's trapezoid of excellence looks like.
Yeah,
Latest
that's all
trapezoid.
you and Ryan are tight. But the topic I did want to get to, this is an interesting topic to me.
Yeah.
Can a West Coast team, UCLA, USC, Oregon, Washington, can they win a Big Ten title in basketball? They can do it in football. We've seen Oregon. It's less taxing in football because you're not playing everybody. You are only going on like 3 or 4 road trips to the Midwest, maybe not even that. Basketball, UCLA, USC, multiple trips to the Midwest and back, another trip to the Midwest and back, another trip to Midwest and back. And Mick Cronin obviously has done all sorts of complaining about it. John Rothstein, who I find one of the better college basketball followers.
Does John Rothstein, sorry to interrupt, does John Rothstein have children?
I doubt it.
Well, I know he's married. I think he has a wife.
Not during the NCAA tournament, he's not married.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if John Rothstein was approached by his wife and said, "Hey, listen, I know that you're super into this, but it has gotten to the point where it has totally ruined our marriage. So I need you to make a decision right now. You can watch insert like mid-major conference basketball tournament here or our relationship." He's choosing college basketball. And it's not even like, well, it's Arizona, Houston this weekend. Like, no, like he's watching the MAC. Like he's watching the Colonial Conference, if that's still a thing. Like he's choosing all of the college basketball over his personal life every single time. I've never seen someone more obsessed with anything than John Rothstein is with college basketball.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Proceed.
No, you're right. You're right there. But he brings up the point that a Big Ten team, that the West Coast teams will never win a Big Ten title in basketball, and it has to do with the travel and just the amount of work it takes to win. Your thoughts? Can the UCLA, USC, Washington, Oregon win a Big Ten title?
Yeah, so it's a really great point, and I remember when the initial news came down that these West Coast schools were going to be moving to the Big Ten, and I think everyone was just looking at it from a football perspective, and I think that you nailed it. As far as the travel, all that, like there was really no difference. But who was going to be impacted the most with this were all of the athletes in the non-football sports, and that's including basketball, that do have multiple games that will have to do a lot more traveling when you think about, soccer and baseball and volleyball and all of these other sports where they made, like, the move was made for football reasons.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty obvious. And they just so, we'll figure the rest out. So now you have basketball where the season is 30 plus games. A lot of them are on the road, and all but 3 of the teams in your conference are at least 2 time zones away, if not 3.
Yeah,
that's a lot. Like that is a lot of back and forth, and that's a lot of travel, and that's a lot of adjusting to location. Like the difference between a kid from UCLA having to balance everything that comes with being a student athlete and with all the travel is so much different than a kid at Illinois who they're playing at Northwestern or Iowa, or like it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Nebraska, UCLA, it's a big deal because even the closest schools are hours and hours on the plane away. So yeah, it's such a good point, and I genuinely feel as of now it feels hard to see any of them winning in any non-football sport because of these reasons.
Yeah, no, and then I mean, right now the talent gap is quite a bit. Like the talent gap between UCLA, USC, and say Michigan, Illinois, Michigan State is quite high, quite different. We saw last night Illinois scored 54 first half points against USC and just buried the Trojans. And I just feel like Eric Musselman and Mick Cronin, and then the guy at Washington and Dana Altman at Oregon have not only all of those travel issues they have to deal with, but they're having a hard time getting the top recruits and the top transfers in there. So, I think it is a good point as well. And I tend to agree with Rothstein. They don't look anywhere close right now
No.
I'm not sure either of those teams will make the tournament. We talked about Tuesday. USC was a bubble team. Well,
they were both pretty fringe. Like UCLA was the last team in to have a bye. Like they were already sort of flirting with the play-in round to begin with. So they're not doing themselves any favors. And then USC is one of the first teams out right now.
Yeah. So, anyways, I knew I wanted to touch on that, but let's move on from that. We can talk a little bit more college basketball when we get to our best bets for betting. But I did want to get to the NBA is back, and it's kind of crazy because the NBA spent a week off of games, and then they hit you right up with a full slate tonight. There are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games tonight. There are another 10 games tomorrow with multiple teams playing back-to-back right off the shoot. I don't really know as if I have a direction to go with the NBA is back. We've kind of talked about the teams that the teams to beat. Just looking at some of the scores tonight, Cleveland obviously blew out Brooklyn. My Hornets lost at home to the Rockets. They're a little shorthanded. The Pistons blasted the Knicks. So, Pistons-Knicks, is that an Eastern Conference Finals preview?
Yeah, man. It's clearly, okay, I know where we'll start this. Clearly the Pistons are better. Okay. Are we ready to say that the Pistons are the best team in the Eastern Conference?
I think you about got to.
What? Okay. So now let me ask you this, because I feel that way too. If I gave you $100 and said, "Hey, you could bet on any team in the Eastern Conference to go to the NBA Finals this year," who would you pick? Would you pick the Pistons? That'd be the first team.
Probably not.
And even if I said all of them have the exact same odds, so don't even think about who's going to give you the most bang for your buck. Even playing field, $100, put them on any team in the East. Are you putting them on the Pistons?
I'm probably doing Cleveland.
So, right. And when do the Pistons get to that point where if they're all the same odds and you're presented with one team to win the East, you're going to take them? I tend to agree with you, though. And the reason is, they remind me of the Thunder from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Or, the T-Wolves from a couple of years ago. So there are a lot of instances in the NBA where a young team that's been bad for a long time and has slowly started to rebuild, they sort of arrive quicker than people expect. But what happens often in those arrival seasons is by the time the playoffs roll around, you're tested, and ultimately you're beaten by teams that are just more battle tested than you and more experienced. The Thunder were the best team in the West a couple years ago, but they couldn't make it out of the second round because they hadn't been there before. And I feel like the Pistons right now, no one expected them to be the top team in the East. No one expected them to have the best record in the league after the All-Star break. But when you put them head to head in a series against Boston, that might have Jason Tatum back, or Cleveland, that has veterans that have been playing postseason games for a few years now. That's sort of going to be the difference. Now, does that mean that, this is it for Detroit? No, because in theory, a lot of times you go through that heartbreak and then you learn from it, and then you're battle tested next year. So I would buy Piston stock next season to go to the finals, but this season, I think that they have to experience that playoff heartbreak in a sense before they can take the next level. And especially with Cleveland being improved, with Boston potentially getting Tatum back, the Knicks, I think, could still be solid, and I think they'll be healthier in the postseason than they've been under Tibbs. So the Pistons winning 3 best-of-7 series, I would probably bet against it.
But what we can say is the Pistons are going to be the number 1 seed in the East. They're 5.5 games up with 30 to go.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to take a Cade Cunningham injury or something to really turn the tides there. But I would tend to say, yeah, the Pistons right now are in a really good spot in the East, and yeah, and that'll help. I mean, they're 21-6 at home. They should definitely benefit from having home court advantage throughout the playoffs.
Let's predict the rest of the Eastern Conference. Who's the second seed? Right now, Boston has half game lead over the Knicks and a full game lead over Cleveland. Toronto's 3.5 back, and the 76ers are 5.5 back of that second. Yeah. Who's the second seed in the East? I'll take Cleveland as the second seed.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. I've been buying Cleveland stock for a couple of weeks now. I really like the improvements they made at the deadline. Not just with Harden, but like their bench, they have depth. They're deeper than Boston. They're deeper than the Knicks. Yeah, and they have all-stars. Like they have a great mix. So yeah, I would probably take Cleveland as the second seed. And right now, for my money, like that's the team that I would be picking to advance to the NBA Finals. But
I'll take the Knicks 3, Celtics 4.
Mm-hmm. Any chance that Toronto or Philly just explodes? What did Toronto or Philly really do at the deadline to improve themselves?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, not really anything. And we talked a week or so ago about Charlotte finding their way in the top 6, and I ended up saying I don't think so. I don't think Toronto or Philly's falling out of this. Obviously, Orlando a game back of Philly for 7th, Miami's game and a half back, and then it's the Hornets and Hawks. But
yeah,
I'm probably keeping Toronto at 5 and Philly 6. I mean, we found out Franz Wagner's basically out for the year for Orlando. Miami made no moves to get any better. So, I mean, I think you're probably keeping Orlando, Miami, Charlotte in any order at 7, 8, 9.
Let me ask you this. So last year, Indiana was the surprise team. They were the 5 or 6 seed that made the finals. And to me though, and again, like at this time last year, I don't think either of us would have said, you know what, the Pacers I could see going to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. But I'm looking at this Eastern Conference right now, and I don't see anyone outside those top 4 teams winning the East.
I'm with you. Toronto, Philly. I mean, I'm intrigued by Philly. Like if they actually like gave full effort and had everybody healthy, and I mean they got guys, but I'd never seen a full. Obviously, they're 15 and 15 at home, 15 and 10 on the road, so not terrible on the road.
But I mean, Embiid's played half their games.
Yeah,
again, and he comes out of the break and he was out tonight again.
Yeah, before the break, they lost by 40 to the Knicks. So, yeah, I'm probably with you. There's 4 teams with a chance there. But the NBA is back. That's a good thing. Maybe on Tuesday or next week we can talk Western Conference.
Does Boston, with the possibility of Tatum coming back, does that – I mean, we should probably consider that to a degree. But also, I was thinking about this too. Like, I think the Celtics have been very impressive this year playing without Tatum, and it's forced them to sort of like look for other options. And obviously Jaylen Brown's had an incredible years, averaging 29 points a game, but they got White and Pritchard and Vucevic, and like they've been able to play more team-oriented basketball. When Tatum comes back, like I wouldn't be shocked if there's a little bit of a learning curve. So I'm almost, for their sake, hoping that Tatum's able to get some regular season games in, because if you throw him into the mix right in the playoffs, then I think that you might actually see like they might struggle a little bit more than people think.
Yeah, no, I obviously Jason Tatum's a great great player, but I wonder how he'll be when he comes back and how the team will. So I'm not really necessarily buying that they'll be much better. I think you're just going to need more time from him. They're better
in the long run, obviously. But in the short term, it just, because of the type of player he is and the impact, it just there's a little bit of an adjustment period, because it will change the entire way that their team operates.
Correct. Yes.
And that's not the easiest thing.
He needs the ball. he needs shots, and if he doesn't get it, that's just So
yeah. And also like Jaylen Brown's gotten really used to scoring now at his thing, and now you're just saying, hey Jaylen, thank you for getting us to the 2 seed in a year that people thought we were going to miss the playoffs.
Right.
Okay, now stop it. Just go back.
Right.
Go backwards. Unlearn all of the progress that you made, and we're gonna give it to Jason coming off of a major injury. If I'm Boston and I'm playing, so let me ask you this scenario here: if I'm the Celtics, we end the year strong. We're the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. We feel pretty good about our chances. Suddenly, Jason Tatum's like, "Hey, so I feel like I could go out there and play. I'm not 100%, but I want to go out there and I want to help because I think that we can really make a run this year in an open Eastern Conference." If you're Boston, are you like, hell yeah, Jason, welcome back? Or are you like, maybe we make sure you're 100%, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would you do there if you're Brad Stevens?
I mean, it's tough because it's your guy, it's your star.
Yeah.
If he says he wants to go, then it's hard to say don't go. But Brad Stevens is a pretty smart guy. He understands how this works. I mean, you would hope you could have the conversation that, are you sure? Are you sure you're sure? But if Tatum says he wants to play, I think you pretty much got to let him play, right?
He's probably earned it at this point. Yeah. But it's an interesting question. If the team's playing well, if the team's not playing well, then it's obvious you let him in. But if the team's playing well and they have some momentum going into the postseason, it's an interesting question for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We're going to move on to the National Football League, and it is the time you've all been waiting for. It's February 19th. It is 2 months away from the NFL draft, a little bit over 2 months away. We've got no worries that we have the NCAA tournament coming up in 3 weeks. No worries that Major League Baseball opening days in like 6 weeks. No worries that we're going down the stretch of the NBA and the NHL will be back. We are doing the first edition of the 2026 mock draft from Tim. I told him on Tuesday he would get 2. He said, we'll see. So we got an opportunity for maybe more than 2. Yeah, we can just do like bare bones edition today. We don't have to get too into depth. Obviously, we still have some baseball talk I want to get to. We have some best bets for betting and a couple other things. So we can talk NFL draft. Tim, I'm going to give it over to you.
Yeah, so we don't need to get too far in the weeds here because this is more of a basketball time. I'd say we do have some baseball that I see on the schedule here, but yeah, this draft is like, a couple of years ago, there were multiple quarterbacks that were all high and was like, okay, there's all these quarterbacks. It's like, it's pretty easy. This one, it's Fernando Mendoza and then a pretty steep drop off. And typically what happens then is like, it's a whole collection of players and you're not quite sure who's going to go where. Now, we know this. Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first overall pick. He's going to be a Las Vegas Raider. He's going to be the absolute most angelic, sinless person to ever play for a Las Vegas professional sports team.
That is correct.
I feel good about that. So the draft to me really starts at 2. The Jets need a quarterback, but there's not going to be a quarterback for them to take. Not at 2nd overall. Like who would even be the after Mendoza? Who's the best quarterback available? Can you even think of anyone?
Yeah, it's going to be tough because Moore's coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, like Dante Moore was, I think, who a lot of people just assumed it was going to be 1-2, but that really changed a lot of things for the Jets. His decision to stay in school. Probably a good decision on his part. Like he was very raw and probably needed another year, but certainly for the Jets, it's not ideal. So, they're a bad team. I would probably say that the consensus right now is Arvell Reese, the linebacker out of Ohio State. He is Micah Parsons-esque, like kind of has that star quality where he could become that like great, just off-ball linebacker. He can be a pass rusher, and like the Jets just need talent. They need talent everywhere. So they can take the best player available here, and a lot of people think that would be Arvell Reese. Cardinals probably don't need a receiver. They could go David Bailey, the edge rusher. I'll say Francis Moigoa, the offensive tackle, would be a good pick for them. The Tennessee Titans, I think the Tennessee Titans could potentially go receiver here. Like they got Cam Ward last year. Why not give him a decent receiver? And I would say Carnell Tate's probably the receiver that most people have being the first one off the board there. So I'll go Carnell Tate fourth.
And you gotta love Ohio State receivers.
Ohio State receivers, pretty good hit rate. Like LSU receivers, pretty good hit rate. Yeah. Iowa tight ends, pretty good hit rate. Yeah. You get an Iowa tight end, you get an Ohio State receiver. Who's another, like what do you think? Like an Alabama running back?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, usually pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Penn State pass rusher can do. Who's like the offensive line school that just like every single offensive lineman that comes out of there is a stud.
Yeah, I feel like Oregon's always been known for their offensive line.
They seem to. That seems to be
Indiana. The last couple of years has had a pretty good offensive line. As far as the pros, not real sure.
I gotta put something like that together, like the school, school and the position that they just have an amazing hit rate on.
Yeah, that would be interesting to watch.
Can't miss. Giants, I think that the Giants would be in a great spot to trade down, and if history's taught us anything with the way that the Ravens operated with John Harbaugh all these years, they're very open to moving down, but if they stay at 5 and it's a best player available, I think Caleb Downs right here is a perfect fit for them. Assuming that Carnell Tate's off the board, they could go receiver, but like Caleb Downs could very well be the best player in this draft. He's got an amazing skill set. He'll be a star on that defense. And we've seen safeties go in the first round under Harbaugh and flourish. So that's kind of my preliminary top 5. And then you got the Browns that could go offensive line. The Commanders are next. They're sort of all over the place. But I'll throw this name at you here. Jeremiah Love. A lot of people think that Jeremiah Love is going to be a top 10 pick.
Really?
Which, we saw Ashton Genty go in the top 10. Didn't have a great year. Didn't have a great rookie year, I think, compared to what a lot of people thought. But Jeremiah Love either going 8th to New Orleans or 9th to Kansas City.
Kansas City wouldn't be a bad choice because they could use a young star runner.
Yeah. So, Kansas City at 9 is going to end up with Reuben Bain, Jeremiah Love, Carnell Tates. Like, one of those guys, I think, is going to be a Kansas City Chief, which is pretty good for them.
Pretty good player. Yeah, they're going to get a good player.
Yeah.
But, what are we going to get out of Mahomes is the biggest question with the Chiefs, obviously. And we talked Tuesday. Will they have Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I feel pretty confident. Patrick Mahomes will start week 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hot take.
Is it?
No, probably not. But, there's questions. And if there's questions,
also, a good reminder, by the way, that there are some pretty high quality prospects at the top of this draft. The Los Angeles Rams own the Falcons' first round pick. So the Rams, who nearly went to the Super Bowl, will have the 13th overall pick. I'm looking at a mock right now that has them taking Mekhi Lemon, the wide receiver from USC. Yeah. I'm not sure they necessarily. He's probably in consideration for best player available there, but they still got Pook and Devontae Adams, so it would just be a luxury pick. But that would be pretty lethal there to have those 3 receivers, and obviously Devontae Adams is a short-term option there, so to pivot from him for Mekhi Lemon would be pretty solid.
Yeah. No, Lemon's a great player. Already there in LA. Yeah, I mean, I could see that being a good match. Good. I mean, Stafford going out here next couple of years, but give him as much talent as possible.
There's a lot of receivers in this draft. There's a lot of offensive linemen. If you need an offensive lineman or a wide receiver and you pick in the top 15, you're doing all right.
You should be in good shape. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you need a quarterback and you're not the Las Vegas Raiders, not good. Not a good year for you. Not a good year.
Bob. No. All right. That kind of talks that we can, when we do it in March, we can kind of get more in depth. You can see what's been going on. The official NFL season starts in March, right? Don't we start the new season in March?
The official new league year, because we'll have free agency that'll start up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The season.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be NFL season here in about a month or so.
It's a matter of time before Roger Goodell is like, hey, sorry, UFL, you've had your fun, but we're going to start playing spring games now because we can. Like, you know that the NFL would love to just be year-round playing games, right?
Where the NFL takes over like a minor league system too, or whatever, like a practice squad, like a 8-week season that they could play. That's yeah. Rod, they probably would and could. Yeah. All right, let's move on to baseball talk. So what I want to do, we're not going to be able to get to all 30 teams in the next month because we don't have 30 shows. So maybe we can pick and choose which ones we want to do. And I'm kind of telling you that if you want to use this segment, we can continue on the days that you plan it. But I kind of want to just look at some of these teams' rosters as we move forward into the baseball season. Not necessarily their win total, their over-under, things like that. Just some of the changes for the roster. And the first team I just randomly chose the Baltimore Orioles. I don't know why. I feel like they made some moves. I feel like they look a little bit different this year. But let's kind of take a look at their roster and see if we think it's going to be any better, who's going to maybe make the move. I could start right out with, obviously, Pete Alonso is there. He should improve them, I would think. Ryan Helsley's there. I would think Ryan Helsley should help them. I know he struggled in New York, but I think he can settle in and have a nice season for them. He's taken the place of Felix Bautista. They signed Helsley 2-year, $28 million. That's not terrible.
No.
So your thoughts on the Orioles? Obviously, Jackson Holliday is going to miss some time early in the season, but your thoughts on the Orioles roster as we head into, spring training games start tomorrow.
Yeah, well, here's what I really liked about Baltimore. So 2 years ago, they had a really solid year. Last year, though, they took a big step back. They still won 75 games. It was last place in the division, but just it seemed like it was one of those years that a lot of things just went wrong for them. But rather than just being like, oh, well, we stink, 2024, that was a fluke, we need to start selling. They're like, no, we play in a really tough division. We have a young core that, like Gunnar Henderson's still only 24 years old.
Yeah.
Jordan Westbrook, 27. Like, they have lots of young guys that are going to get better. So they're like, no, let's actually add pieces. So you mentioned Pete Alonso. That was a big move. They traded for Taylor Ward. He's going to hit at the top of the lineup for them. They got Chris Bassett and Shane Baz. Shane Baz in a trade with Tampa Bay, I think, is a really underrated move that a lot of people haven't talked about. Ryan Helsley, you mentioned as the closer. So, like, 2 rotation guys, a closer, 2 guys for their lineup. Like, they had an aggressive offseason, probably more so than 90% of the teams in baseball, which good on them. And you're really the only big money that they handed out with that was Alonso, but he's going to improve dramatically at first base. He's going to be right in the heart of that lineup, hitting between Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman. That's a pretty good spot for him, and I'm hoping it works out for their sake.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and just do this now. I know we said we wouldn't necessarily talk, but 85.5. 85.5 is the number for Baltimore. What did they finish at? They were well under 500 last year, but they had numerous injuries. We know they're in a pretty tough division. The defending American League champions are there. Boston apparently is going to be better. The Yankees are still the Yankees. I mean, they're they should be better than Tampa, but 85.5. Can the Orioles get to 86 wins? I don't think they can. I know they've made improvements, and I hope it works out for them, but 86 wins just seems like a lot.
Yeah, you need a team in the AL East to really fall. Like you need the Rays to fall a lot and the Red Sox to probably fall back, or the Blue Jays or the Yankees or whoever to lose like 10 more games than they did last year. Yeah, it's unlikely, but I'll say this, like even though they were last place last season, I'm looking at Fangraphs here. They still have Baltimore at 55% to make the playoffs.
Wow.
And almost 19% to win the division, which is fourth, but it's still considerably higher than Tampa Bay. So I really like the improvements that they made. What I think is really going to make or break things for them is, Gunnar Henderson is a really good player who has the potential to be like a 6 or 7 WAR player for them this year. If that happens, that's going to make a huge difference. Adley Rutschman, I think, sort of struggled last year, but he could get back and do well. But they have Samuel Basallo, who is one of their top hitting prospects, who didn't play a ton last year because he's only 21 years old, but now he's going to get regular at bats for them as their DH. So, like, they have enough young players that can take a step up that are going to change the fortunes for them really quickly. You add that to the veterans that they did add, and then the starting rotation too looks so much better. Like Chris Bassett and Shane Baz are huge additions for them that they didn't have last year. They didn't have healthy arms. They straight up had no healthy pitchers last year. So so you add all of these things together, and you're probably looking at like a 10-win improvement, which would put them right at 85. So yeah, I'll be generous, and because this is the first time that we're doing this segment and I want to be positive, I'll say Baltimore Orioles would go over 85.5. I like their roster a lot, and Holiday, I don't know how long Holiday's injury is gonna keep him out. It was like that hamate, right? That everyone hurt, the hamate in the wrist.
The hamate.
Yeah, so I mean it's not gonna be a 4-month recovery time. He might be playing opening day. We'll just see.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. So we'll kind of talk about different teams as we go forward here, getting ready for the start of the Major League Baseball season. But let's move on to best bets betting. Spend 10 minutes here talking about some of our best bets, and then I've got a remember me guy that we can hit up tonight. But we're both kind of fatigued tonight too. It's going to be early bedtime. Get to 10 o'clock in an hour. And
it's just it's the rain, busy week, and we're just like But look at this. The show happens, and we get up. Like, it's one of those things, man, where like you gain energy by expelling energy.
Just spitting out hot takes, just gaining energy.
You know what I mean, right? Like you bring yourself up, and it energizes you in a sense. The show energizes me. This is good. This is good stuff happening.
There we go. There we go. All right, let's get to our best bets for betting for this week. So remember last week I gained a little bit on you, and now I am 2 back, 62 and 63 for me, 64 and 61 for you, because college basketball is my season, not yours. And so we will look to continue that this week. And I'm going to start right off with the college basketball game tomorrow in St. Louis. It is the Rams. It is the Billikens. It's actually for the A-10 lead now, since St. Louis went on the road and laid an egg at Rhode Island somehow, some way. Winner will be first place in the league. I think the Rams can compete. VCU's been playing pretty well. St. Louis obviously struggled in their last game. And I think that's too many points. I think VCU covers 9 points in this road game, a big conference game. I'm going to take VCU plus 9 here.
All right, I'm going to start in the NBA here, where a little bit more in my comfort zone. This pains me because I feel like you and I have both developed an affinity for Charlotte. I mean, you've doggone made them your favorite NBA team. Yeah, but listen, like the Cavs and Hornets, now they're both coming off of a back-to-back tomorrow, but I mean, the Cavaliers expelled no effort tonight totally dismantling the Brooklyn Nets at home. They're on a 6-game win streak. They come to Charlotte tomorrow as a 5.5-point favorite. And actually, I want to point out that when I put this bet in, it was 4.5.
Yeah.
It has since moved to 5.5.
Yeah.
I just want that for the record. I'm not trying to cheat here. But that to say, the Cavaliers, they're playing really, really good basketball. The Hornets are still going to be shorthanded. I believe Bridges will still be suspended. Diabate might still be suspended. So I'm just going to roll with Cleveland as a road favorite tomorrow. And I got them at 4.5. So take that, suckers. So
yeah,
that's my first pick.
All right. So my second pick, I have to change the day. It's actually tomorrow. It's not. I put Saturday. It's Friday. Once I get this on, there we go. My second game tomorrow is out of the Big Ten. It is. Come on, there we go. It is the Indiana Hoosiers plus 10.5 at Purdue. Another game I just think is too many points. Big Ten game, rivalry game, state of Indiana game. Indiana's not bad. They got blown out at Illinois last week, but they're not bad. Purdue is kind of hit or miss. We still think maybe they're a contender. I'm not really convinced, but some are. I don't know. Like Purdue's kind of Jekyll and Hyde right now. So I think the Hoosiers can keep it single digits. I don't know as if the Hoosiers can win in West Lafayette, but I think they can keep it single digits. I'll take Indiana plus 10.5 on the road, which is 2 underdogs to cover as my first 2 best bets for betting for Friday.
All right. One more NBA game for me for tomorrow night. This is a doozy. We call this one the play-in special right now. The Miami Heat against the Atlanta Hawks. So this is another line that has since moved since I put the bet in. The problem is it has not moved in my favor. I got the Hawks at plus 2.5. The line is now at 3.5.
Okay.
A little concerning, but I am a man of my word. So Atlanta's a home dog here. Like both of these teams are not all that great. The reason though that I'm taking Atlanta is Norman Powell is questionable with lower back tightness already. That's not a good start if you're the Miami Heat. They kind of need him. He's their leading scorer. And just like these teams are too close, and like with such a close matchup like this where both teams are kind of mediocre, like I'm just going to go with the home team, especially as a dog here. So I'm a little bummed that it's not 3.5, but I'm going to take Hawks plus 2.5 tomorrow night.
All right. Okay. I also have an NBA game. Also for tomorrow, I'm going to take the Grizzlies over the Jazz. The Jazz have made zero effort at trying to win games. I don't know as if the Grizzlies are necessarily trying to win games either, but I just feel like the Jazz are a complete disaster. Both of them are disaster, actually. Grizzlies lost 4 in a row heading into this game. Go ahead.
Rodney, this line earlier when you put this in was 2.5 and has now moved to it was 4.5 and it is now 2.5.
So everybody likes Utah.
So people are hammering the Utah Jazz right now.
I'm going to go with Memphis. I'm going to go with Memphis. Memphis I don't know. Just a game I looked at and I liked. I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer for it, but I'm going to take the Grizzlies. They are at home. The Jazz have pretty much said they don't want to win, right?
I mean, Jaren Jackson's out, right? Like they just not playing.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the Jazz make sense to tank, get the second or third pick and get AJ DeBanza. I mean, he's going to fit in just fine.
There. Keep him right there in Utah. Yeah,
keep him right there. I'm going to take the Memphis Grizzlies.
The hometown kid, even though it's not his hometown, it's just where he plays this college
definitely
basketball for a year. No. All right. Spoiler alert. This is going to be the first of 2 Houston, Arizona bets that you're going to see in bees for bees. I'm going to go with Houston at home, 5.5-point favorites. I kind of think lower scoring, but Houston is going to bounce back. They had a loss earlier this week. I know Arizona was previously undefeated. They had a nice win against BYU, but struggled and ended up losing at home against Texas Tech. Obviously, they lost that close one to your Kansas Jayhawks. So close games a little bit, but losses in 2 of their last 3. Tough games, and now they got to go to Houston. I just think it's going to be too much for them. So I'm going to take the Cougars -5.5 tomorrow night.
Great game. One of the so that's what I got left. I got two really monster college basketball games on Saturday. My first one's going to be the under in that game. I think you're going to agree with me. You mentioned it could be a little lower scoring. Houston is a defensive team. Arizona does not shoot the three all that much. They're actually one of the fewest three-point shooting teams in all of college basketball, which is kind of a red flag in the NCAA tournament, because if you ever watch the NCAA tournament, dudes make threes, and they make lots of them. So a little bit of a red flag on Arizona. Tommy Lloyd's Wildcats, no Koa Pete. So I'm going to take the under. Even a 72-70 game gets me under. I like that. I feel pretty comfortable with the under. Just don't go to overtime. That's all I ask. Don't go to overtime. And I think we can cover this one under. So under 142.5 for me.
All right. My fourth best bet for betting. Iowa State coming off of a hard-fought win against Houston. But as you mentioned, Houston is a defensive team, a little bit of a struggle to get there. It's kind of like when you play the Detroit Lions the week before. Meanwhile, you have a BYU team who just finished losing to Arizona. So you have a BYU team that is like coming off a loss and is upset. They need to get back on track. An Iowa State team that had to grind it out with games against Kansas, games against Houston. And now they got to go to BYU. And you're going to give me 3.5 points. I'm going to take BYU here. I think BYU wins outright, but I'm going to take them plus 3.5.
I like it. Last game, I'll take the biggest game of the day. It is Duke. It is Michigan, the top two teams in the country. Many think this could be for the number one overall seed. Somehow, some way, this game is not a neutral court. No, not a neutral court. Oh, it is. It's in Washington, D.C. I thought Duke was hosting. Somebody said Duke was hosting. It's in Washington, D.C. I still like the Blue Devils here. They're going to travel well. Michigan will too. But this game's in Capital One Arena. Duke won this. These two teams have not played since 2013. That's pretty wild to me that two really premier programs have not played since 2013. But Michigan's won 11 in a row. The Blue Devils are 24-2, have won 3 in a row. But I'm going to take Duke in this one. I'm going to take Duke -2.5. Actually, is it minus or is Michigan favorite? I actually think I messed that up. Yeah, this should be Duke plus 2.5. By the way, I'm gonna fix it up right now.
How it is.
Yeah.
So officially Duke plus 2.5.
Yeah, Duke's the underdog in this one. I just botched.
Yeah.
I botched that one big time because I was listening to something today that said the Blue Devils were home, but no, this is a neutral court game in Washington, D.C. So I'll still take Duke plus 2.5.
This is the expertise you can expect on the stupidest sports show on earth.
Right.
All right, my final best bet for betting. So I up until a few seconds ago, I had the USA money line against Slovakia for tomorrow afternoon, and I was like, okay. But then I was like, you know what? I don't feel like that's fair because I looked at the odds and they're -800. And I can't do a -800 best bet for betting.
Not really, no.
No, so instead I'm a man of honor, as we all know. That's well established. So I will take USA on the puck line. They're 2.5 goal favorites tomorrow against Slovakia. Canada's also a 2.5 goal favorite, but against Finland. I think that's probably a tougher matchup, but I do think even though USA and Canada both had to win it in overtime in the quarterfinals, I do still think that we are on a collision course where Canada and USA will cruise and we'll get a gold medal match this weekend. So I am going with the Americans in the semifinals to cover the 2.5.
Shout out to the American women for winning the gold medal today over Canada. So.
And overtime. Congrats, ladies. Well done.
I feel like there's been a lot of overtime hockey games. A lot of overtime.
Yeah, and it's nice because they do 3-on-3 in overtime.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I can bring myself to want 3-on-3 overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
But you have to admit, it is so much more entertaining than watching 5-on-5 overtime.
Yeah, because 5-on-5 overtime, there's probably, I mean, the puck is dumped so much, and just a lot of blue line to blue line.
It's just another period. Yeah, it can go double overtime, triple overtime. Like five. What's the longest 3-on-3 overtime?
Yeah,
that you've seen. Like we see in the NHL, you could play a 5-minute overtime period, but you give me 10 minutes. Olympic level players, 10 minutes of 3-on-3, guaranteed someone scored a goal.
You would think, yeah, you would think. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's our best bets for betting heading into this week, 62 and 63 for yours truly, 64 and 61 for Tim. All right, so that about does it for that. Now we move on to our new segment that Tim started last week. Let's remember someone. All right, so you gave Frank Thomas on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
You gave Vince Carter on. No, you gave Frank Thomas last Thursday. You gave Vince Carter on Tuesday. I'm going to go with a guy a little bit maybe less of a star than yours, but I'm going to give flowers to a guy by the name of Sean Elliott. Remember Sean Elliott?
I do remember Sean Elliott. I feel like I probably don't remember him as well as you, so I'm very, very fascinated to remember him some more today.
Yeah, so because his playing career was done in 2001. He was the third overall pick out of Arizona.
Most people call it 2001, but that's okay.
What did I say? 01?
2001.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's getting late. So his college career was very good at Arizona. He was the John R. Wooden Award winner. He was Adolph Rupp Trophy winner. He was the AP Player of the Year, 2-time Pac-10 Player of the Year, won a national championship with Lute Olson there. His number 32 is retired. He was very good in high school. He was a Mike McDonald's All-American. Then he was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs. Played most of his career with the Spurs. He had a cup of tea with the Pistons, and he went back to the Spurs. But Sean Elliott, over 10,000 points in his career. He averaged 14.2 points per game. I think you would take that in your career. He got over 3,000 rebounds. Not a massive rebound guy, but seemed to always be in the right spots. And was just shy of 2,000 assists in his career. So obviously, and a guy that didn't miss a lot of time his first 7 or 8 years, 81 games, 82, kind of started to falter his body a little bit. His second go around in San Antonio, his last couple of years, 36, 50, 19, and 52. So a little bit less. 2-time All-Star. So not like, I mean, we're not talking Frank Thomas Hall of Famer. We're not talking Vince Carter Hall of Famer, but we are talking about a really good player that I enjoyed. I those are the type of guys that still need their flowers too, right? Like,
yeah, oh yeah,
very nice career, 700 plus games in his career, had a nice long career. He played 85 playoff games for the Spurs, 17 during that run in 1999. So Sean Elliott, very nice player, and appreciate him.
He's got his number retired in college and in the NBA.
Yeah.
Spurs retired his number.
Yeah.
And what I want to know, and maybe you remember the what actually happened here, but like, why was he in Detroit? So he was with the Spurs for 4 years. He was with Detroit for just 1 year. Played well, was fine, and then immediately went back to the Spurs and was there the rest of his career. How did he end up in Detroit for 1 season and then back to the Spurs?
He was part of the Dennis Rodman trade.
Okay.
He struggled with the Pistons. Pistons attempted to trade him to the Rockets in February of 1994. They wanted to do the trade with Robert Horry and a couple picks, but he failed his physical. They actually had a deal in place there. That's when he had his kidney problem. He had a little bit of a kidney problem. That was kind of why he wasn't very good in Detroit. Scored 12 points a game in Detroit. So, I mean, obviously wasn't terrible. Then following the end of the season, they traded him back for the rights of Bill Curley. I can't tell you that I know much about Bill Curley, but I think probably what happened is the Pistons decided, okay, this isn't really working for us, Sean. This isn't really working for you. You're a little bit injured. You're not super healthy. You like San Antonio. We're going to put you back in San Antonio. You can move on with your career there in San Antonio. In his first year, they won 62 games. He was with David Robinson, and the type of guy that just he had a good career with San Antonio, went somewhere else, wasn't very good, finished up with San Antonio. So, part of the Dennis Rodman trade. Interesting trade.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm just looking at that draft class. So he was the 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
Behind the 1st overall pick was Never Nervous Purvis Ellison.
Yeah.
And then the Clippers 2nd overall took Danny Ferry. I mean, Sean Elliott turned out better than both those guys.
Yeah. I'm looking as well. Glenn Rice, J.R. Reed, Stacey King. So, I mean, Sean Elliott was one of the better dudes. It was the best.
Interesting draft class because you go down a ways and then Golden State Tim Hardaway and then Sean Kemp was 17th overall. So, I mean, Sean Kemp's probably your best player. I mean, by points per game for a career, Glenn Rice, Tim Hardaway, Sean Kemp, Nick Anderson, Sean Elliott, Vlade Divac was a late 1st-round pick. Clifford Robinson in the 2nd round.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. B.J. Armstrong, Chicago Bull.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Kings, Purvis Ellison out of Louisville. And if you look at that, it's just how the times have changed in college basketball and NBA. The draft, senior, junior, senior, junior, were the top 12 picks.
That's a great point.
You're not getting a single senior in this year's draft. I mean, you're getting 10 freshmen right off the bat. You're getting top 10 players or 18 years old or whatever they are. It's just that's just the times have changed. I mean, young underclassmen weren't even in the draft at that point. I mean, there's Vlade Divac from Yugoslavia. But other than that, there's a sophomore. Jay Edwards out of Indiana was drafted 33rd as a sophomore.
So, I know this is a Sean Elliott segment, and we've moved on to like just the draft as a whole. But
all right.
So Purvis Ellison is a 4-year senior, taken 1st overall, plays 1 year in Sacramento, plays like 40, like half the games basically, and then was traded after his rookie year to the Bullets in a 3-team trade involving the Jazz. It sent Jeff Malone to the Jazz and Eric Lechner, Bob Hansen, and draft picks to the Kings.
Outside of 2 seasons, Purvis Ellison was a bust.
He sucked, yeah. He actually won Most Improved Player in his 3rd or 4th season. Season.
He scored 20. He scored 20 points a game his 3rd season in the league. But then his 5th season in the league, he scored 7.3 and never sniffed double digits again.
No, and was hurt a lot. Yeah, his other nickname, and this is on Basketball Reference, was Out of Service Purvis.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Now Danny Ferry was kind of similar. He only had 2 seasons of double-digit scoring too, right in the middle of his career in Cleveland. Now Danny Ferry played a lot. But all 3, he played 82 games, 3 straight seasons. So he was available. He just wasn't really all that good. He actually only started 186 games in his career. Danny Ferry, 2nd pick in the draft.
So Danny Ferry is also interesting because Danny Ferry, second overall pick in the draft, and yet did not start more than 2 games in a season until his 5th season in the NBA, where he started 6.
Yeah.
And then in year 7, at 29 years old, they're like, all right, Danny, now you're ready to start. And he started basically every game. And that's when he averaged 13 points, the career high.
Could you imagine if AJ Debinsa did that in his first 7 season?
Yeah. So yes, AJ Debinsa is the 2nd overall pick. And then he starts 1 game a year, comes off the bench exclusively until his 6th year in the league.
His minutes were no more than 20 a game either. He's 20 his rookie year, 13, 19, 13, and 15.
Yeah.
But you're right. He doubled his minutes that year he started. He should play 32 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, and also Danny Ferry refused to play for the Clippers, who drafted him second overall. So instead, he played one season in the Italian league, and then came into the NBA, and then spent the majority of his career with the Cavaliers.
Nice draft, Clippers.
What an insane time!
Yeah. It is crazy. But honestly, you mentioned
like I wasn't alive for the 1989 draft, but like, do you remember these stories? I know you were like a kid, but
7 years old. But one more name, because we got Sean Elliott at third. Glenn Rice actually had a really nice career.
He was really good. I remember Glenn Rice. He was a good player.
Played 1,000 games, averaged 18.3 points a game, 26.8 points in Charlotte. So yeah, Glenn Rice. But a throwback to the 1989 draft. That's interesting. So
I bet our buddy Jim Matson remembers that 1989 draft very well because he had like Nick Anderson getting drafted that year too. I bet he would remember everything we're talking about right now with Danny Ferry and out of service Purvis and all these guys.
Glenn Rice was a Michigan guy, so I guarantee you that Big Ten. Nick Anderson was 11th overall. Yeah, I'm looking at other Big Ten guys that were out there.
We might, you know what? I know that I started this segment of Let's Remember Someone, but like eventually this is just going to go to us pulling up a random draft class, whether it's the NBA or NFL. And we're just going to be like, oh, remember this guy? we're going to be amazed at all of these things. Like I can't get over that. So the top two picks. So the first overall pick spent one season with his team and then was traded. And then the second overall pick spent 0 seasons with his team, went to Italy for a year. That's amazing.
Yeah. Anyways, Sean Elliott is the guy we are remembering tonight.
Good pick, Rodney.
There's your flowers, Sean.
Good pick. Even though it started off as Sean Elliott and then just went to everyone else around him in the draft class. But no, respect, Sean.
All right, follow us on Twitter. It's not X, Stupid Sports Show, no W on the end. And that should about do it. My Substack, I'm still back and forth. So make sure you get on there. The QR code is up there. And obviously you guys already know our new programming time. Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Thursday nights, 9 p.m. That should about do it. Enjoy your flight tomorrow, Tim.
Thank you. Going on assignment. I will report to you next week, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. That's when we'll be back. Talking a lot of college hoops, maybe other happenings, maybe another mock draft. We'll see. We'll find out. So,
if anything changed in those 4 days while you were on the flight, I'd be surprised.
You'll know. I'll text you if I'm on the flight, and I'll just be like, actually, Spencer Fano's going to go third overall.
All right, let's get out of here. It's bedtime.
Perfect. All right, sounds good. Well, he's Rodney Newpol. I'm Tim, the Georgia Peach fan. Stratton. Thanks to everyone who tuned in to hang out with us tonight. Again, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. We'll be back for another edition of the show. But have a good weekend, everyone, and keep safe. And this has been another edition of the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. See you guys.
See ya.
Step right up, dummies, and listen to the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.